Howard Coleman here, cybersecurity trainer and consultant. I've been working with cybersecurity since the internet started. Contact me at any time when you have questions, and please visit my website, smackthehacker.com, where I'll cover topics we don't have time for today. I know you didn't get into business to be a security expert, but it's become an essential business activity like accounting, legal, marketing, and sales. Ignore it, pretend it's not a problem, and your job and company will be at risk. We all enjoy the increases in productivity, communication, and information availability brought about by the internet and digital revolution, but it comes at the price of constant vigilance. I don't want you or your company to get hacked, get in trouble with regulators, or lose money, staff, reputation, and productivity. So I'm going to describe a series of straightforward steps that won't break the bank, can dramatically increase your safety, and put in place the management processes that will keep your company safer, out of the crosshairs of regulators, and prepared for whatever hits the fan. In this presentation, first I'm going to cover some must-dos, then the threatscape, your attack surface, and defense strategy and tactics. It's not what you buy, it's what you do that will save you. Please let me know in the comments below about topics you'd like covered. A prominent axiom of cybersecurity is that there are so many soft targets that the primary hardening I'm telling you about today will be highly effective. Like the saying goes, if you're being chased by a bear in the woods, you don't have to outrun the bear, just your hiking buddies. You can't make it perfect. If North Korea wants you, nothing will keep them out. This is not set it and forget it, but get going with upgrading your management processes, policies, and technology, and you'll immediately benefit from increased security and enhanced credibility with investors, lenders, and insurers. You're probably doing some of these must-dos for everyone and every business already. If not, get these things in place immediately. Cybersecurity has to be everyone's job now. As CEO, when I got phishing emails, I used to describe, not forward them, then send a warning to everyone in the company. This is helpful because it reinforces the idea that we're all in this together. First, never, ever log on to the internet from any device without an antivirus firewall protecting you. I recommend Norton, and there's also McAfee and Kaspersky. There's links to them and other products I mentioned in the description below. Full disclosure, I have affiliate marketing agreements with the vendors I mentioned. If you click through to them from the description or smackthehacker.com, I'll receive a small commission that helps me keep providing this content. Otherwise, no connection. I recommend Norton Antivirus because I've used it for years at work and home. It's inexpensive and comes with utilities that take care of two other must-dos, a password manager and cloud backup. Next, also backup on site. For home use, easy to get a Western Digital or Seagate external hard drive and a backup utility. Why two backups? Access to the cloud could go down, and backing up from the cloud is hundreds of times slower than with a USB drive. In 2018, 351,936 business email compromises, phishes, were reported to the FBI. Direct losses totaled $2.7 billion, not counting lost opportunities, wages, reputation, or the costs of remediation. When Robert Mueller was FBI director, he said there's two kinds of companies, those who have been hacked and those who will be. Just as you don't leave your windows and doors unlocked or leave a laptop on the seat of an unlocked car, now we have to protect ourselves every time we connect to the internet. More than 50,000 websites are compromised every day as hackers constantly adopt new tactics, compromising SMBs directly or through third-party software, payment services, and plugins. When hackers discover a vulnerability before it's been patched, it's called a zero-day or zero-hour exploit because there is zero time available for vendors to release a patch. In April 2019, a massive spray and pray campaign by criminals targeted a zero-day exploit in a WordPress plugin installed on 40,000 websites, resulting in mailgun and many other random victims redirecting users to malicious sites. This is just one illustration of the risk of using third-party maintained code. We're at the beginning of a new trend in criminality, unlike anything seen before, and we're relatively defenseless. Our online predators are not the hacktivists, lone wolf dorm hackers, or bored youth portrayed in the movies and on TV. These are modern-day mobsters who are often protected by their military or intelligence services, operate from safe havens in Eastern Europe and Asia, steal trillions of dollars every year, and stay way ahead of enforcement efforts. Hacking started as recreational phone phreaking in the 1960s. From the criminal point of view, it's safe and easy. There is little risk to sitting in a hotel room or coffee shop stealing credit cards, passwords, and cleaning out bank accounts. Hackers use commandeered machines and chains of proxy servers to make it almost impossible to track them down. How did this happen? Why do we have to live with a massive and rapidly growing criminal enterprise? We're in this mess today because of the unintended consequences of an internet designed for engineering and scientific communication, not for public or commercial use. Meanwhile, the big internet and computer companies have been too busy spying on us and developing memory hog updates to care about security. I know it sucks, but we have to take the cybersecurity red pill if we want to thrive and not get robbed in this new age of menace. Your attack surface is defined primarily by every point of contact with the internet. One of the first things the major cybersecurity frameworks advise is to inventory organizational software and hardware, an almost impossible task in this age of BYOD and IoT. But get started and don't let this stop you from otherwise moving ahead. Anything using radio waves is exceptionally vulnerable to interception by man-in-the-middle attack. Bring your own device is the trend for employees to use their personal phones and computers for company business. If someone is connected to your company network through a shoddy VPN with an unprotected device, say an old laptop with a bunch of leaky games or music, and if they're hacked, your network may also be pwned. Same with the Internet of Things, the rapidly proliferating devices connected to the Internet, such as smart speakers, thermostats, and cars. These technology stack appliances, especially surveillance cameras, are not designed with security in mind and open a world of opportunity for hackers. The majority cannot be made safe. Phishing, smishing by text, and vishing by phone, to beat that usage to death, are the cause of more than 90% of breaches. Many people can't resist clicking or responding to a request for help or info. With people also being notorious for playing password roulette by using the same credentials on multiple sites, they're at risk of falling victim to credential stuffing and taking your company with them. Dunkin' Donuts was affected in October 2018 and again just 3 months later. The company reported that usernames and passwords had been compromised. These attacks have happened to dozens of huge retailers. However, the most frequently compromised businesses are SMBs. Point-and-click credential stuffing tools sell for as little as $20 on the dark web. There's no longer an excuse for not knowing about cybercrime as a business and personal risk. Protect yourself and your company by implementing a company-wide cybersecurity management program at the highest possible level. Security needs to be built in, not bolted on, and here's why. Just because you bought the latest, greatest firewall don't mean you've got it covered. When one of your employees gets phished, or you get a letter from regulators, that fancy firewall ain't gonna help. Agencies like the FTC and SEC are not sympathetic, and they like to go after SMBs. Go with enterprise-wide risk management, and you'll have a group that manages all the risk and security needs of your company. As to competitive advantage, when FedEx and Maersk, the world's largest container shipping company, went down, unaffected DHL picked up lots of market share. When a competitor gets hacked, you can do this too if you're ready. When Verizon bought Yahoo, their due diligence discovered a previously undisclosed major Yahoo breach that saved them more than $300 million on the purchase price. In contrast, when Marriott bought Starwood for $13.3 billion, they apparently did not know of the potential for the massive breach of Starwood reservation data that will ultimately cost them $2 or $3 billion. When your company gets a bunch of data stolen or goes down for whatever reason, be ready. Announcing it right away will build trust. You also don't want to be caught off guard when a call from a customer, law enforcement, or a reporter is how you learn of a breach. No comment doesn't cut it anymore. Makes it seem like you're hiding something. I keep emphasizing that planning and organization are the most important aspects of cybersecurity. Build a folder of policies, meet regularly, and implement the must-dos, and you'll be safer and ready when you get breached, sued, or a letter from the FTC. First task is to understand where your organization fits, your boundaries of obligation and responsibility. Are you high-tech, low-tech, med-tech, biotech, or no-tech? Wholesale, retail, supply chain, local, or international. Understand these distinctions so you can customize a plan for your unique business and environment. Your people are your number one asset and point of vulnerability. Put someone in charge. Organize your risk management team and identify expertise to help. Ask what a cyber event would look like for your organization. Map out scenarios based on what you do, your regulatory environment, your use of technology, and what will happen when it fails. Get everyone trained and responsible for security, especially how to recognize phishing. Send your bright youngsters to college. Don't just get by with compliance. Use it to enhance your comprehensive risk management plan and overall business value. Anti-phishing testing and training is the most important of the essentials because all business email malware causes more than 90% of small business data break-ins and thefts. Phishing avoidance training is best if it's positive and helpful rather than shame and blame. Many resources are available. Policies need to be clear, however, that unintentionally causing a breach may be subject to disciplinary action. Second, don't play password roulette. Require everyone to use a password manager and always use two-factor authentication when possible. Providing antivirus firewalls, backup utilities, and password managers for employees and their families costs almost nothing and pays big dividends in buy-in by your team. Change manage this by pointing out that people no longer have to remember their passwords, won't get in trouble for password misuse, and will be safer. Second, don't play password roulette. Require everyone to use a password manager and always use two-factor authentication when possible. Providing antivirus firewalls, backup utilities, and password managers for employees and their families costs almost nothing and pays big dividends in buy-in by your team. Change manage this by pointing out that people no longer have to remember their passwords, won't get in trouble for password misuse, and will be safer. Go easy. Many in your company probably feel overwhelmed most of the time, so don't go too fast with a bunch of new stuff. Third, you need two backups, one local and one remote. Restoring from the cloud is so much slower than from a local external drive that it's worth having both. Your IT department or vendor should have this covered. Ask them to perform and document a restore test at least quarterly and explain to you how the backups are configured to prevent a ransomware attack. Fourth, hanging on to obsolete, unsupported gear or allowing insecure devices to be connected to your network either directly or indirectly could destroy your organization. Get rid of obsolete stuff as you identify it. We had a PC that came with an expensive DNA sequencer that ran on Windows XP. You know, extra perfect. As MS stopped supporting XP in April 2014, we air-gapped the machine by unplugging it from the network so we could continue using the sequencer. Fifth, keep software up to date. Maybe your IT people want to sandbox updates in case they're problematic. There's much greater risk in remaining vulnerable, think WannaCry and Petya, than incurring damage from an untested patch. Also, develop a classification scheme for your documents and encrypt sensitive data. Parse permissions for access on need-to-know, least required access, and zero trust principles. The more granular you become, the safer your organization will be from both internal and external threats. The resources here have more information than you'll ever want to know. Start with the Hitachi article to quickly gain perspective before you dive into the others. In thinking about which framework to pursue, ISO has the advantage of being able to certify you, which can be prima facie evidence of compliance with the growing body of privacy laws. Contact me for a copy of the slides in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you and help you work through the thicket any way I can. Good luck and thanks for watching. It's been great being with you. Get woke, take action, and be safe.